Assalamu alaikum class. I am Yumna Shahid. Today I'm going to talk about a hilarious novel known as How It Happened, written by Shazaf Fatima Haider. I have prepared this video in a very hilarious mode because I think that it complements the very tone of the novel and the narrative that is created by Shazaf Fatima Haider. It is a humorous novel. You can see a picture here where there's a girl frowning and not in a good mood, but maybe she will pretend later that she's smiling. She's holding a trolley in her hand, and I think you guessed what this novel is about. The title is not as significant as titles are, but how it happened means that how those protagonists or the young generation children managed to get away from this toxic rishta culture. So this novel is about the rishta dramas and desi family shenanigans. Shenanigans is a modern term, or rather a slang word. You can say that it's about silly things that are harmless. So yeah, there are a lot of things that we say or do that are harmless but silly, nonsensical, and rishta culture is no exception. So it's a hilarious take on Pakistani weddings and rishta culture, and prepared by your very own Yumna Shahid. Let me introduce the novel to you guys. How It Happened is a full-on Desi comedy that gives you all the spicy family drama, nosy aunties, and the never-ending rishta hunting scene. Spoiler alert, Dadi's mismatching is as intense as the Cricket World Cup final. Alright, let's be a little serious. Not really. What do you think of this cover? This cover is of How It Happened, the book cover. The book cover covers are very important for me. I don't know about you, but look at the book cover and you can see a bride here. In a very typical, what comes in your mind when you see this bride, in red? It's Barat, right? And it's that main day of wedding when there is this ghungat, and it's a representation of the whole wedding scene. So this novel is about the rishta culture and the wedding, and it's also about, because it's written in 2012, right? It's contemporary, it's not 20th century, it's not 19th century or Victorian era, or modern era. It's postmodern, and even it's contemporary, it's 21st century, and it's the depiction of 21st century Pakistan. I think it's very important to read this book to have an idea of culture of Pakistan. I would like to compare a very serious on a very serious note, I want to compare this very notion of reading the marriage culture in Pakistan, typically written by a Pakistani author, with how the African writers who are from Africa wrote about Africa and the Ibo culture, and how the Western writers wrote about the Africa. There's a lot of difference. So it's very important to read the native books to get an appropriate idea about that culture, and not the Western generated idea that would alienate you as a South Asian reader. I know that you want some ideals of the West um, in context of the marriage and the women's right, but I think that you wouldn't be feeling happier. You wouldn't feel happier reading those idealistic marriage norms of West, because you at the end of the day belong to Pakistan and you're living here in this culture. So I think this book is important to have a gist of what happens in Pakistan or what is happening in 2012 in Pakistan and how it is still happening. I can actually relate to it a lot. So, what do you think about this cover? You can write in the comments. This cover is having a pride, it's red, it's 2012, it's contemporary Pakistan. What about marriage? What about rishta culture? What are the societal pressures? What is the significance of trying room in the rishta culture? You know, then comic and nonsensical cultural practice and what? You can write about your experience in the comment section about all these things. Let's talk about the author. Who is Shazaf Fatima Haider? Shazaf Fatima Haider is a Pakistani author known for her humorous and engaging writing style that delves into social issues, particularly focusing on family dynamics, marriage, and cultural traditions in South Asia. She gained prominence in her debut novel, How It Happened, in 2012, which explores the lives of a conservative Shia Muslim family in Karachi navigating the complexities of arranged marriages. So, this very line, this introduction is very important of how it happened because this very line has all the thematic threads and motifs that are the concerns of Shazaf Fatima Haider. She gained prominence with this novel. This explores the life of conservative. First thing is conservative. Second thing is Shia Muslim family. There are two themes already in this half sentence. First of all, there is a clash between tradition and modernity. Conservative traditional Dadi versus today's generation, Zeba and Harun and Saleha. And then it's a Shia family, so it's conflict of this Muslim and Muslim sects like Shia and Sunni conflicts that happens in the marriages, in the Rishta culture. So, yeah, and in Karachi, it means the setting is purely Pakistani, Karachi. So, it's indigenous and also navigating the complexities of arranged marriages. So, these are the concerns of the novel. I think it's like a complete gist of the whole novel and the concerns of the novelist. Let's come back to the style and influence. Shazaf Fatma Haider's writing is often compared to authors like Moni Mohsen. I think you have heard about Moni Mohsen and Mohsen Hamid. Mohsen Hamid is a very contemporary writer, and I think in your course you have studied the Reluctant Fundamentalist because if you are watching this video because of the course known as Pakistani Literature in English 2 or even Pakistani literature, I think that Moni Mohsen and Mohsen Hamid are both in the in the same course in which you are reading or you are preparing Shazaf Fatima Haider, because Hamid is also a contemporary writer, but his concerns are a little different and a lot political, like the Reluctant Fundamentalist, or Moni Mohsen is also contemporary, and her concerns are related to women too. And she also writes about a mix up of the social and political scenarios. So yeah, so like Moni Mohsen and Mohsen Hamid, known for the sharp social commentary, Haider's strength lies in her ability to present heavy social themes in a relatable and entertaining format, making her stories accessible to a wide range of readers. Haider's work resonates with the readers who are interested in exploring the intersections of tradition, family, and cultural identity, particularly within the social South Asian context. What is what is the word intersection here? Intersection intersection. Have you read about intersectionality or intersectional feminism by Crenshaw? Intersections are like they're what is intersection in mathematics? Just remember, like they're intersect when things intersect, like tradition. No, it's not all about tradition, it's about family too, it's about culture too, it's about age too, it's about gender too. All these sections of societies are intersections. So every everything, including your age, your identity, your gender, your race, everything intersects and then constitutes your identity and your struggles, particularly within the South Asian context. Key themes in her work. So, the key themes in her work include the social satire, family dynamics, and cultural identity. Social satire, Heather. We use, you would be surprised to, look at this word Heather. If you have written some articles or you are into academic research, you would know that we mostly mention the last name of the author when we are citing the author. So Heather, that is why Heather, the Shazaf Fatima Haider is the name, but we use Heather a lot academically. Heather uses wit and humor to critique traditional South Asian customs, especially around the institution of marriage. So Heather is actually critiquing the South Asian customs, including, that these customs are in South Asian countries like Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh, and countries like that. And the institution of marriage is um, very complex here. And then family dynamics, she's exploring the family dynamics in her novel. Her narratives often focus on the clash between generations, particularly between conservative elder. There is a clash between generation. I think we all have this suffered this thing in our families, like the generation, there is generational gaps. We come from the universities and try to tell the stories that we find very exciting, and then when we tell our desi parents about our stories, and sometimes they do not understand the context and why it's important for us. And yeah, there is this generational gap. And then it's about dadi, the dadi generation. That they have their own stereotypes and their own cultural norms. So there is this clash between conservative elders and younger family members. And then there is cultural identity. So Shazaf Fatma Haider explores the nuances of the Pakistani culture, highlighting the pressures of societal expectations and the conflict between tradition and change. It's a big theme in this narrative, tradition and change. That it's about the balance. I would discuss it at the very end of the video, that it's about the balance between tradition and change. A serious introduction to the novel, because I'm going to be very hilarious afterwards. So the novel revolves around the Bandian family. Bandian family, it's like the family name. For example, we have the families like Malik family. It's the Bandian family, where the elderly family matriarch. There is patriarch. There's matriarch. So often in the comical ways tries to ensure her grandchildren. Oh, who is the matriarch? That is Dadi. And she comically tries to ensure her grandchildren marry within their sect. There is this theme of sect, Shia and Sunni, and the Dadi wants her grandchildren to marry within their sect. Heather uses this premise to provide a light-hearted yet insightful critique of the complexities of arranged marriages in South Asian societies. This novel is notable for its relatable characters, witty dialogues, and its ability to address serious social issues in a humorous manner. Meet the Bandian family. Here's the Bandian family class. First of all, there's Dadi. This is a little hilarious introduction to the family. Dadi is like the CEO of the Rishta Enterprises Ltd. Thought. This is just for a little humor, but she is like that. Rishta culture. And then there is Saleha. Saleha is our narrator. She's youngest and sassiest narrator who's all about spilling the chai tea. Spilling the tea is an idiom. Then there is Zeba. Zeba is rebellious, desi heroine who just wants a normal life. Yeah, good luck with that. Harun. Harun is the older brother who is trying not to get Rishta fed by Dadi. Then there's Bilal, the modern guy trying to survive Dadi's interrogation. He better know how to answer. Beta future plans? What is Rishta culture? Imagine a Netflix show, but it's all about families meeting for marriage proposals. I think it reminds me of Jane Austen. It's a very weird thought and association because Jane Austen is like even before the Victorian era and between 18th and 19th century. But it reminded me of that whole scene where there was that party and every one was looking for marriage proposals. But yeah, imagine a drama like that. Staring random aunties, judgmental uncles, and one nervous bride. Plot is like girl must impress strangers with perfect chai, powering skills, and a CV of domestic talents. This is the Bandian household class, where Dadi believes finding a good match is like winning the Desi lottery. The prying groom and nosy aunties. Symbol of Rishta culture, the prying groom walks into the living room like he's about to buy a new car. Dadi's checklist, it means that what Dadi is looking for, fair complexion, गोरी चिट्टी, कैन शी मेक कोल्ड रोटीज और फिर गोल्ड रोटीज भी आनी चाहिए डॉक्टर और इंजीनियर भी होनी चाहिए एनीथिंग गर्ल्स बेटा प्लीज़ Saleha's commentary on that. Oof, I swear these rishte wale uncles come with more questions than my exam papers. Desi family drama during weddings. Yes, there is a lot of drama in this novel, and it's just a hilarious interpretation of a hilarious novel. So weddings is like I wrote this क्योंकि सास भी कभी बहू थी level chaos. Aunties gossiping in one corner, uncles debating politics in the other, cousins trying to sneak in biryani before dinner is officially served, conflict 101, Dadi wants a shadi jaisi shadi with thousand guests and the dholki louder than a concert. I think this clash we all can agree that I think the modern generation wants a minimal wedding, but then there are our generation older generation that wants that shadi jaisi shadi. Harun and Zepa just want a small trauma free wedding, lol, as if that's even possible in a desi family. Generational clashes, dadi versus millennials. दादी बेटा शादी कर लो वरना लोग क्या कहेंगे जेबा दादी लोग को छोड़ो आई वॉन्ट टू मैरी फॉर लव दादी कंफ्यूज्ड लव इज दैट अ न्यू काइंड ऑफ बिरयानी क्यू eyes rolls and dramatic sighs from Saleha as she watches the drama unfold. How it happened, the family showdown. Zeba's potential grooms get vetted like they're applying for a visa to America. जब दादी देख रही थी ये सारा कुछ तो ये पूरा चैप्टर इसके ऊपर है कि जो पोटेंशियल ग्रूम्स थे जो देखने आ रहे थे उसको वो ऐसा लग रहा था जैसे वो अप्लाई कर रहे हैं वीज़ा के लिए फॉर अमेरिका एंड व्हाट आर द क्वेश्चन दैट आर बीइंग आस्क्ड बेटा ख़ानदान कैसा है बिकॉज अपेरेंटली योर ग्रेट ग्रेट ग्रैंडफादर्स प्रोफेशन स्टिल मैटर्स. Do you plan to live abroad? Secretly hoping the answer is yes, because overseas rishta is equal to social bragging rights. Plot twist. Zeba ends up falling for Bilal, a self-proclaimed feminist. Shocking, I know. The unwritten rules of rishta hunting. Dadi's golden rules. If the girl says she is not ready for marriage, that just means not this month, maybe next month. Yeah, I think we all can relate to it. The boy's family must praise the kebabs even if they are burnt to a crisp. Gossip is a competitive sport. Aunties need to stay updated. It's like scrolling through Instagram, but for rishtas. Conclusion. Moral of the story in a hilarious way would be love may or may not happen, but trauma is always guaranteed in Desi households. Raise your hands if your family has ever been personally victimized by a rishta auntie class. Okay, serious and reflective summary of how it happened. At first glance, How It Happened by Shazaf Fatima Haider appears to be a light-hearted and humorous exploration of the rishta or marriage proposal culture in Pakistan. Yet beneath its layers of wit and satire lies a profound commentary on the intricate dynamics of family, tradition, and personal autonomy. The story is narrated through the eyes of Saleha, the youngest member of the Bandian family, who humorously recounts the chaos that ensues as her grandmother Dadi takes on the mission of arranging the perfect marriages for her grandchildren. What was happening in 2012 in Pakistan? This is the question for you people because it can give you a very good context of why marriage, and marriage. There is this quotation that I selected: you must get married, beta, before you turn into an old maid and people start talking. I think this is the stereotype, and this is something that we all have heard, especially girls. This line, repeated by Dadi throughout the novel, reveals the deep seated anxieties in Desi families about societal perceptions and the pressure to conform, generational conflict, and the struggle for autonomy. The novel captures the tension between tradition and modernity through Zeba and Harun's experiences. Zeba, who dares to challenge the process, asks, why must we marry to make others happy? Shouldn't we choose love on our own terms? The question reflects a growing desire among young people to reclaim agency in a society that often prioritizes family reputation over individual happiness. Harun too feels the pressure of his grandmother's matchmaking attempts, struggling to balance respect for his family with his own dreams. Through these characters, Heather highlights a critical message. While honoring our roots is important, it should not come at the cost of suppressing our personal desires. This is such a beautiful message. The novel shows that love is not merely about fulfilling social expectations, but about finding a partner who truly respects and understands you. Social expectations and burden of appearances. Oh my god, this is so real. Heather's use of humor definitely marks a critique of how families, particularly women, are subjected to the intense scrutiny of rishta meetings. You know, किस तरह से ऊपर से नीचे तक उन्हें देखा जाता है, this toxic stereotypical rishta hunt scene in our trying rooms is horrifying. The scenes where potential grooms and the families come to inspect Sepa are both comical and painfully reflective of reality. Beta, can you make perfect round rotis? Do you know how to balance a household budget? These questions reduce a woman's worth to her domestic capabilities, underlining the societal expectations placed on women in traditional South Asian contexts. Balancing love, tradition, and family expectations. Despite the comedic tone, How It Happened asks an important question: how do we honor our families without losing ourselves? Because honor is also important, families are also important. There is a quotation of Zepa: I love my family, but must I sacrifice myself at the altar of their expectations? This sentiment captures the struggle of many young people who wish to honor their parents while forging their own paths. In the end, the novel, Class, is not simply a critique of Rishta culture, but a heartfelt exploration of the love that underpins family ties. Heather's story reminds us that while traditions may be a source of comfort and identity, they must evolve to accommodate the changing needs and desires of each generation. Change is the only constant, Class. Conclusion: the real lesson behind the laughter. Through its wit, How It Happened serves as as both a celebration and a critique of Desi family life. It is also a celebration of class family life. It's not just a critique; it's a celebration also. It's a celebration of culture too. It encourages readers to appreciate the warmth and loyalty of family while also challenging the rigid customs that can stifle individual freedom. Heather's novel suggests that the most meaningful relationships are those where respect is mutual, choices are honored, and love is genuine beyond the social performance. Thank you, class. I hope you enjoyed this video and give your feedback in the comments. If you want another video or anything else on how it happened, I am always there for you. And I can also provide you with the PDF if you want of any question, any research question, or anything that comes in your mind. Thank you.